Hi there, Alan Udy for the Historical Aviation Film Unit here. It's surprising how often your life can take a new, unexpected direction after a single chance encounter. That's something that happened to Graham Frew, a well-known New Zealand Warbird pilot in the last 6 months or so. He was attending the final ever National Air Races in Reno, Nevada last year when he came across Maxime, the co-founder of Barnstormer, an aviation apparel and merchandising company based in France. A few discussions over a period of a couple of weeks subsequently to that show, and Graham and Maxime decided to go into business and launching a new venture, Barnstormer-NZ-AUS, in the Southern Hemisphere. I recently managed to catch up with both Graham and Maxime at the Warbirds over Wanaka air show in Wanaka, New Zealand at Easter. And so this is a little chat with them and their story as to how Barnstormer-NZ-AUS has come about and why they were launching at Warbirds over Wanaka. So, Graham, we're here at Warbirds over Wanaka 2024.
Fantastic.
Big launch of Barnstormer-NZ-AUS.
It is, yeah, and so thrilled to be here and launch on such a special air show. After 6 years of not being able to have air shows, it's shaping up to probably be the best ever, and we just thought it's the perfect place to launch a new range of very high quality aviation themed clothing.
A lot of people in Australia and New Zealand and even further afield will know you from Full Noise, Yak 3, Reno racer.
Yes.
And you're wearing the jacket today.
I am, proudly.
So how did you go from Warbird racer to clothing range? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, it's a great question, and oddly enough, it came about through Reno. We went back last year to the last ever Reno air races, and we were walking around the race pits, and we saw Maxime in Victoria and his business partners selling their aviation clothing in front of the P-51C model Thunderbird that Jimmy Stewart used to own, and we were just struck with the design detail and the quality of the garments, and we struck up a conversation about a Full Noise range initially, and that led into, and Max can probably explain better than me, the rest of the conversation.
We still do not believe that we have this conversation only 6 months ago, 7 months ago, and we got a very nice feeling with Grammy and Paula and Victoria and me, and we start having the conversation about bringing our clothes company to New Zealand, because even in Europe or in United States, the historical aviation in New Zealand is really famous all over the world, and for us it was a possible market to bring the brand to New Zealand, but not within a close future. It was maybe in 10 or I don't know 15 years. So this conversation was pretty amazing to have, and so we start having this possible collaboration between Grammy and us, and this happened 6 months after, and here we are. It's our first time in New Zealand, and of course our first time in Wanaka, but I think it's not the last one.
So
we hope not.
Barnstormer is relatively established in Europe?
Yeah. So we created the company Barnstormer, the clothes company, with my wife 10 years ago. So as we are at the beginning passionate for aviation, of course, my family got a very old history in aviation during the war and everything. So it's where my passion comes from, and the one of my wife too. And 10 years ago, when we go to the air show and stuff like that all over Europe, we didn't find a high quality clothes company. So you only find poor quality t-shirt, just print on it. And the idea became from there. So at the beginning we start to only polo collection, because we think that it was easy to build a polo shirt, but it's very complicated. So we start by the most complicating article to create. And little by little, we start to have the opportunity to work with very big company as Dassault Aviation in Europe, as the first to trust in us. So we managed to have a dedicated Dassault Aviation collection with all the history of Dassault. And after we met a lot of European very big actors in the market. So we have our own collection, Barnstormer. We've specialized in the golden age of aviation. We really appreciate this period. And after we make some close with collaboration with a big company and stuff like that. And all the collection are available on our website. So we start in Europe, in France, because this is our main office in France. 4 years ago, we opened a subsidiary in United States. It's why we were in Reno in last September. And in United States, in less than 4 years, we are now working with some of the most biggest American aviation company. So we are very happy of that. And so now this month we open Barnstormer New Zealand and Australia with Grammy, and everything will be available on the website within few weeks, few days.
So anybody in this part of the world will be able to look at the whole Barnstormer catalogue and get it delivered relatively locally.
And everybody will be shipped from New Zealand, so of course you are not going to pay extra shipment, no custom, nothing. And in next May, so in 1 month, we open a new market to United Kingdom too. So if you like aviation, you will find what you like.
It's all very exciting.
So Graham, as I mentioned, you're wearing the full noise jacket this morning.
Yes.
What ranges?
Warm as toast.
Sorry?
I'm warm as toast.
You're warm as toast. Great. Excellent. So what ranges specific to New Zealand and the launch here have you got this weekend?
I was really impressed when Maxime and Victoria produced the original range. The original discussion was just around us wanting to refresh the full noise range. And so for the full noise range, we've got a very high quality t-shirt, a lovely polo shirt, and 2 different designs in fact. And this great hoodie that I'm wearing under my and the jacket, and some new caps as well. And then they came up with a range based around the Wairarapa Wildcat, which is Jeff Fiskin's famous P40 that he flew combat in the Pacific. They were really well studied with the history of it, and as soon as they came up with it, we thought, oh, that's just a perfect thing to celebrate the Pacific War aviation. And one of my favourites they came up with was a B-25 called Daily Delivery, flown with the 2nd Tactical Air Force, but it was crewed by Kiwis and Aussies, and that's why they came up with that design. And I love the design of that, which is again a polo, great t-shirt and a sweat top. The Jeff Fiskin P40 jackets are really first class, but we also have a polo and a t-shirt in the Fiskin range as well, the Wairarapa Wildcat range. And of course the big launch product for us is the Mosquito Polo, and we've done that as a collaboration with Warbirds over Wanaka and Barnstormer France. It's a fundraiser for the actual airshow trust, so they're getting most of the proceeds of it. Victoria and Max designed it, but we had an inside knowledge of what the paint scheme would be. This was all pulled together in amazing record time. We were still in January talking about what the final designs would be. The clothing turned up in Blenheim on Monday from France. 530 kilos of high quality aviation themed clothing on Monday, and we've got it all here now, and it's just brilliant to see the display that Victoria and Max have helped put together with Paula and I, and just really good buzz from people on the quality of the clothing and the stories that the clothing tells.
Well, that's it. And you and I had a conversation a little while ago. I think it might have been around the Lancaster shirt in particular.
Yes, yeah.
The design of the clothing, it's not just, as Maxime mentioned earlier, a print on a shirt or just a little logo. There's much more to the design and the story and history to each one, isn't there?
Yes, there is, and it's a really good point, because someone pointed out to me that the squadron badge on the Barnstormer Lancaster polo was incorrect, but it's not supposed to be a perfect representation, because the logo inside the badge is from the personal aircraft that it represents on the polo. So they've taken various design aspects to tell the story. Which I think is fantastic. It's something I love about the range that we've got.
Yeah, I can't remember ever seeing a range of clothing like that with that sort of attention to detail to specific items and that history behind it as well.
Yes, yeah, and it's all coming from Maxime and Victoria, with our guidance as well. Yes.
Oh, it's great. So just quickly going back to the mosquito polos.
Yes.
Presumably, people that are here this weekend and don't come across you or miss out on the shirt, they'll be available for a while longer, won't it? It's not a one-off for the weekend?
No, it's not. It's going to be available, and proceeds will still go to Warbirds over Wanaka, whether they're sold in Europe or here in New Zealand and Australia. So once we get the website up and running, which will be very soon, then people can just get into Barnstormer-NZ-AUS and click and collect effectively. Yeah, click and buy.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on the launch this weekend. Hope it goes really well, and we hope to see lots more great Barnstormer ranges in future.
Thank you very much.
If you'd like access to our ever-increasing playlist of exclusive members-only videos, hit the join button and become a member of our channel for only a couple of dollars a month. For just a couple of dollars more, you can also get access to our full streaming video channel at historicalmachines.tv, which features full-length documentary programs. We'd love it if you'd support our efforts to preserve this visual history of these wonderful machines.